Okay, as you probably guessed from him sitting right there, I made some changes to Carador. So, a few days ago I did, what did I take out? I took out something for, I took out an Eternal Dragon for Selfless Spirit. That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. And then going through it, I decided to make some more changes. So I took out a Forest to give him his first Into the Triumph. Carador is so old that he predates Korea. I've had him a lot longer than a lot of my other decks. And he didn't have a Triumph, and I was playtesting him, just goldfishing, and I realized, I don't have a Triumph to find. What the fuck? Missing it. So I took it out of the Reaper King. Reaper King right now he's offline. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Maybe I'll get him a Mondrak, a Caretaker's Talent, put Elesh Norn in there. Make it so I have a backup plan of attacking. I went from Saskia, being a token deck, the idea to attack, to realizing that the tokens really want to work with Purphoros and kill my opponents at a distance, to making Reaper King that, okay, if I'm killing them from a distance, why didn't I make them all scarecrows and they come into play through Maskwood Nexus via Conspiracy and blow up all my opponent's stuff? Why don't I do that? That worked pretty well, but it still felt like it's missing something. And I think that something is Mondrak to create more tokens. There's another creature that I saw today. It's a 2/2. Whenever a creature with CMC 2 or less comes into play, if it has an activated ability, it triggers. I was thinking about that, thinking about some other things. But if I have Caretaker's Talent and I get it up to level 3, if I have Elesh Norn out, then all my tokens are going to be at least 5/5. So that's a threat. That's a valid threat. But anyway, Reaper King's offline, so I took out Into the Triumph, gave it to Carador. I also took out Land Tax. Land Tax is one of those weird cards that it's like Temple of False God, it's like Bojiga Bog. I used to run it in every deck with a white. Of course, when I only had 10 decks, that was a lot easier to run it in every deck with white. And then I slowly started weeding out Temple of False Gods because I wanted more colored mana in a lot of the decks that I play. Started weeding out Bojiga Bog because typically what happens is I'll play it at not the most strategic moment, but I'll play it at the moment I need land. So, and all of you have seen this. Somebody has Bojiga Bog, and they play it because they need the land, right? Even though it comes into play tapped, they need the mana, so they play it. And then they look around. Who's got stuff in their graveyard? Oh, I've got a land because I fetched. I've got one creature. I've got a sorcery and a fetch land. Okay, you've got the most stuff, so I'll Bojiga Bog you. I mean, we've all seen it. Sometimes, rarely, it's used strategically. This Mimeoplasm player has a lot of stuff in his graveyard. Bang! Get rid of it! But not that often. And Land Tax kind of became the same. So in any deck with green, I feel like I don't need it because after a while, it will shut off. If you get it in the first few turns, it's great if you're not the first player, if you can stay behind everybody. You can also stay behind everybody using Zern Orb, sacrifice a land, gain 2 life, get 1 step behind everybody in the land count. But unless you have other reasons for Zern Orb, why would you do that? Or if you have Sylvan Safekeeper, sacrifice a land, target creature control, get Shroud until the end of the turn, then that's valid. But it's still green, and green has a lot of ramp. So given that Land Tax will shut off after a while, in most games, and I've got green ramp in here anyway, I thought, yeah, I'll take out Land Tax in favor of something else. So I took out Land Tax to put back in the Eternal Dragon. Why not? I mean, actually, Nature's Lore is more of a card I would have taken up for Eternal. Let's say Guardian of Faith. So Guardian of Faith is a spirit. Carador doesn't have a lot of instant ways to protect his board. So I thought this flashy, vigilant spirit would suit the bill. 1 white, 3/2, bang! Any number of other target creatures I control phase out, saving them from the board wipe. He gets hit with the board wipe, and Vora Stronghold puts him back on top of my library for me to do it again. So I think that's going to be better than land tax. And Nature's Lore, okay, it's great. I love it. 1 in a green, go find a forest, put it on the battlefield. So I can find Into the Triome. I can find a Shockland. I can find any missing color I need that's connected to a forest. So I've got the 3 Shocklands in here, so if I need white, I can go find Temple Garden. If I need black, I can go find my Overgrown Tomb. Excuse me, but Eternal Dragon does the same thing, only with an extra step. So instead of putting it into play, he puts it in my hand. And I was in the gold fishing, I thought, wow, it'd be really cool if I had another creature in my graveyard. Well, he goes in the graveyard, and then I can fish him back out. So, and also it's at instant speed. So, at instant speed, I can plane cycle him, go find a plains. Let's say I need black. I can go find my Godless Shrine. If I need another green, I can go find that Temple Garden. I can find the End of the Triome. So I put him in here, took those out. So that's the changes to Carador. Why don't we shuffle up and see how well it works? Maybe I'll get the infinite combo off. Well, it's not an infinite combo, it's a game-winning combo, but it's pretty shaky because that's the other reason I wanted the Guardian of Faith, is because Carador's ultimate combo, which is dump all of the spirits from my library, all of them, into my graveyard, all of them, and then cast Patriarch's Bidding, naming spirits, so all the spirits that are in my library get filtered through my graveyard and come onto the field of battle to smash. Carador has no haste, none. He just doesn't have the colors for it. So they have to survive a turn to attack. But given that one of the spirits is going to be Kokusho, if somebody does get past me and does a Wrath of God or some other effect like that, Kokusho is going to hurt them real bad. So let's see what we get. Alright, so Toi, Stizzy, Yavasa cut. Okay, so I've got any of my colors. I've got a low mana cost creature, I've got the hollow, I've got a plains, I have Yomama of the South Tree, and I've got Kokusho. Not a fast start, but Carador is not a fast deck, so let's see what I would get. Haraona. When Haraona comes into play, draw a card. Oh, that's so great, 4 mana, draw a card. But whenever I play a spirit, I can put her back in my hand. So let's get down the land that comes into play tap first. Let's move this back a bit. Make sure he's still visible. Yeah, that's pretty good. Untap. Move the table back because of the fucking glare. I need to put some kind of filter over this light so it doesn't have so much damn glare. Draw. Hey, Murmuring Bosk. So let's get down to the Commandant for Suture Spirit. Suture Spirit is great with Horobi, Death's Whale. Horobi says when a creature is target of anything, it dies. Suture Spirit says, hey, target creature regenerates. Target reacher regenerates. So he can kill people with Horobi. Alright, next turn. Not looking so fast, so good. So let's get down Murmuring Bosk. No, let's not. No. Let's get down Cuvette de Yavimaya. So I have a blocker. I have a flying blocker that I can regenerate. So that's not too bad this early in the game. It's not great. Let's draw. Okay, Overgrown Tomb. We'll play the other planes. Dink, 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 dink. I can no longer regenerate because I spent all my mana. Play Haraona. Draw a card. Thawing Glaciers. Okay, not bad. Alright, untap. This is now going into turn 5. And at this point, a lot of my opponents would have a interesting board state. Long Pete would have maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 knights in play, some tokens in play. Cube, if he's playing Grayson's Darn, probably has Grayson's Darn in play and he's ready to kill other creatures. Yeah, I drew that for Hera-Ona. So, excuse me. So I need to get going. So, what do I want to do? I'll play... Do I want the Glaciers down right now? I need green for the Kodama the North 3, so tap those. Shut off my regeneration because I'm tapping it. Even though I left it untapped, I don't have green. Play Yamama of the South Tree. 4/4, whenever I play a Spirit Arcane spell, each other creature I control gains +1/+1 and trample until the end of the entire turn. So, draw. Oh, this is funny. This is really funny. Okay, so I want to keep this mana up for what I'm about to do. He only costs 3. So I could play that tapped. Of course, I have no Tree Folk in the deck, so it's going to come in and play tapped anyway. And then I can play Eidolon Rhetoric. Eidolon Rhetoric, 2 and a white for a 1/4 spirit. Nobody can cast more than 1 spell each turn. Fuck you guys. 1 spell per turn, and I can regenerate him. So when somebody tries to kill him, I can regenerate. Spirit came into play. Each other creature I control gets +1/+1 trample until end of turn. Not a very impressive board state for that right now. But I will bounce back Hera-Ona so I can spend 4 and draw another card. That's value, baby. That's value. Right. So this is why you're seeing now why Carador is probably my weakest deck. He's not that fast, but he is consistent. He is fun to play. He gives me a lot of decisions. So I don't have double black until that untaps. I could have played the Overgrown Tomb, but I chose not to because I wanted to get that path down. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Hera-Ona. Keep in mind, we can only play 1 spell per turn. Draw a card, and I draw Infernal Kirin. Okay, whenever I play a Spirit Arcane spell, target player reveals their hand and throws away all cards of that spell, CMC. So, this is pretty good with Hera-Ona. Because play him, bounce Hera-Ona back to my hand, play her, and I hit everything for 5 in somebody's hand. Which is usually quite a lot, usually pretty interesting. I still don't have, they all got +1/+1 and trample. So I've got a 2/2 flying trampler. I've got a 2/5 trampler. It's not very impressive. So I'm still playing a defensive game. I'm still hiding behind Cuvette de la Yavimaya and whatever I need to block. So start, and you can see this. So 2, 4, 6, 7. This is turn 7. Turn 7, this is my board. These are the creatures I have. Sometimes Carador is a little bit faster than this, but typically not. But my board is not very threatening. And I can regenerate, and I've got flying creatures to block with. So it's not bad, but it's definitely not ideal. Hey, Temple Garden. The reason I'm not playing Thawing Glaciers is because I have already a lot of land to play, so I'm not too worried about it. But maybe I should get it down. So play Thawing Glaciers, tapped. Dive black. Okay, black. 2 more. we'll put these here. Put this on the forest, black. I'll play Infernal Kirin. 3/3 flyer. And when I play I'll get the Hera-Ona back to my hand. When I play her again, somebody will throw away everything they have for 4. And people will forget about that. People will forget what this does. I will tell them what it does, and they will forget. Because it's such a weird old card, nobody expects it. Nobody considers it. So draw. Karmic Guide. I've got nothing in my graveyard. Now, I probably would have something in my graveyard at this point. I probably would. Because I would need a block, and I can only regenerate 1 creature. And I've got 3 other turns to go through. So what I can do, let's put this on top of this plains. Let's put the Path of Ancestry here. Oh, I forgot to scry. Because every time I spend Path of Ancestry mana, every creature in there is a spirit, so everyone is going to trigger. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I kind of have to do it 4. Because I need to spend 1 for the Thawing Glaciers. Play Hera-Ona. Look at somebody's hand. They throw away everything that cost 4 because of Infernal Kirin. And then I scry. Oh no, that's staying on top. Oh yeah. I can only play 1 spell per turn, but it'd be nice to draw more cards. Let's see. Did I play that this turn? Should that be untapped? I think that, yeah, that should be untapped. So I'll play Kenyan Serpental. I don't want to activate that now because of the Primordial Sage that's on top of my library. So untap, draw, Primordial Sage. What a surprise. Let's see. I should only play 1 spell per turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play the Sage. Bounce Hera-Ona back to my hand. Look at somebody's hand and they throw away everything that costs 6. It's probably not going to be a whole lot of things, but you'd be surprised. It depends on the deck. Okay. So tap. Draw. And draw into the plains. So I'll put this plains under Kenyan Serpental. So let's get Kokusho down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For Kokusho, the Evening Star. And then somebody throws away everything for 6. And I get to scry. Huh. Do I want that? Not sure what I'm digging for. I should probably be attacking. So he's a 4/4 flyer with trample because of the Kodama of the South tree. But attacking somebody for 4, if I've been playing a defensive game and everybody now has an interesting board state, isn't the best idea. But I played Kokusho, so actually I get to draw what I scried. Still only play 1 spell per turn. So I will Thawing Glaciers. Let's get a swamp. I'm kind of stuck for black. So put that there, tapped. Shuffle my library. Every day I'm shuffling. And now I do have kind of an interesting board because I have a decent number of creatures. None of them are very threatening. None of them are that impressive except for Kokusho. So, easiest way to deal with her is to exile her. I don't have high market to save her. I don't have anything in my hand to save her. So that's not ideal. Sometimes I wonder why I play this deck. And then sometimes I get the, what is it? Inui life aspect, death aspect. And I dump my graveyard into my library, into my graveyard, all the creatures, and then smash. So, I've got a lot of mana. I could bring up Carador, but there's no reason. I've got nothing in the graveyard. Now, if I did have things in the graveyard, which I probably would, this is a bad simulation. I'm just kind of testing the draws right now. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divinity of Pride. So if I'm flatten him out a bit so you can see him better. So if I haven't been getting hit much, I would have 25 more life. So he would be an 8/8 flying lifelinker. Anyway, get to scry 1 and draw a card. I'll scry 1, draw a card. She's pretty good. So we've got a full hand. Kukusho is now a 6/6 to trample, so I'll probably tax the Kukusho, see what happens. Why not? I can always use Generator if I want to. Probably wouldn't want to. So let's untap. This is the deck that the Genie, one time I got Burgeoning out and I had 3 lands by, played Burgeoning first turn, I had 2 more lands. So when I untapped on my second turn, I already had 3 lands, and he started complaining about how powerful the deck was and how I'm playing CDH. And I ended up losing because this is what the deck does. I can only play 1 spell per turn, but I did it to myself. I have nobody to blame but me. Let's play Thawing Glaciers. She's untapped. Although I do have Winding Canyons. Since I have Winding Canyons, so 1, actually let's leave that up. 1, 2, 3. Play Aura Shards. Put it over there. And because I have Winding Canyons, I can play something at instant speed at the end of my turn. Or at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding me. Yep, I still have green here. So I would attack with the Divinity of Pride. He's an 8/8 flying lifelinker. Probably going to punch something in the head. Again, 8 life. End of the turn of the opponent preceding me. Let's see. 1. So that pays for that. So if I did not have to regenerate anything, assuming I did not have to regenerate anything, I can play Heru'ona at the end of somebody else's turn. 2 would activate Winding Canyons. 4 for the Heru'ona. So, creature coming to play, I get to draw a card. There's the Burgeoning. And I didn't scry, but I'll just keep it. Because I've got a lot of lands in my hand. Also, since Heru'ona came into play, if somebody did attack me, all my creatures would get bigger. And I get to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So let's draw for my turn. Okay. So this is kind of to show you what Carador is like, what he does. What the ideal is, what's funny is Inami Death Aspect. Inami Death Aspect comes into play. Search my library for any number of spirit cards, throw them in my graveyard, and then shuffle the remains of my library. Whatever's left. And then hope to God somebody doesn't fucking mill me out. And then I play Patriarch's Bidding. Naming Spirits. There it is. So if I have, there's, I think, 38 creatures in the deck now. So if I dump, let's say I've got 30 in my library. I dump 30 creatures in the graveyard, and then I get them all back. One of them is going to be the Selfless Spirit. Another one is going to be Call Me a False Hope. And there'd be a lot of triggers. Well, triggers on play. Triggers on play. Triggers on... Okay, there'd hardly be any fucking triggers at all. There'd be no triggers. They all trigger on play. So much for that. Do I have anything that triggers on just fucking happening? Whenever you play... Do I have any of the triggers at all? Huh. Play. So he triggers on coming into play. But he would be the thing that's bringing them into the graveyard to come into play. There's a death trigger. Seedborn Muse. That's a... triggers on cast, so triggers on play. Another permanent enters the battlefield, so if I have anything in my hand, any permanents, then I can put them into play. So if I have any lands, any enchantments, artifacts, if Kodama the East Tree comes into play and he sees a bunch of other stuff coming into play, then I can put more stuff into play. He's just a 5/5 flyer when he comes into play, so... Any number of other target creatures phase out. Probably wouldn't do that. Nope. Target dispel ability, destroy it. So when everything comes into play, if I've got a bunch of untapped land, Suture Spirit can start killing things. So there is that. I don't have. I don't have anything that triggers on coming into play. Any of these creatures, do I? Sacrifice, whenever you play, sacrifice, I get hexproof. Huh. And that's why you do this. That's why you goldfish, is so you see these interactions. So rather than wasting time, if I do a Nami Death Aspect and Patriarch's Bidding, so the next time for sure, I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at my triggers. I should already know this. I should already have done it, but I didn't really think about it before. I just put them into play and was happy to have a bunch of creatures in play like that. So I know I don't need to look at my board. Does this have a trigger? Does this? Nope. None of my stuff except Yamama the East Tree gives a shit about something coming into play. All of them only trigger on casting, on playing, not entering the battlefield. Oh well, hey, at least I know, right?